Okay, you're back.
Hello, everyone's back.
Yes.
Can we close the executive session?
Oh, you don't need to, Mayor. This was just asking the advice of counsel.
Okay. So after further investigation, we would like to table this. Dr. Shore, we're going to ask you to speak to the building superintendent, Steve Haramis, and then he will direct you in the direction that it has to go. Hello?
Mr. Filippazzi, maybe you can tell your client that he has to contact, or if you want, you can contact the.
Yes, I was writing all that down. I will speak with Dr. Shore and we'll be in touch with Steve on how we need to proceed.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a happy new year.
Good night. Happy New Year. Next item.
The next item is a waiver request for a permit fee to put a new roof on 37 North Road. The premise has the very old roof that the shingles are falling and just falling apart. A summons was issued, a notice of violation was issued back in February, and now the applicant and homeowner is requesting that the fee should be waived so they can go ahead. And the reason for it is they are blaming the COVID for it, as well as the tenant that is a non-paying tenant. Is there anyone who is at the meeting that is representing 37 North Road?
If you're on the phone, press *6 on your phone if you're calling in from the applicant. Unmute yourself.
Meanwhile, I'm going to put up the letter that they have submitted. I would like just to remind the board that the amount of the permit fee is $200 from 1% of the estimated amount that is going estimated cost of construction. So even if the cost of fixing the roof would be $15,000, that's $150 plus $200 base, that would be $350, and the applicant is asking for to waive that. Even though the applicant is not, if the board would like to discuss it and come up with any decisions, we can always convey the message to the homeowner.
Abraham, why is the applicant asking to waive the permit fees he's asking us to waive?
Yes, and we're talking about a maximum of $350, correct?
Why?
In the letter, they are mentioning that due to COVID, the tenant is not paying for it, and therefore they cannot afford to pay the permit fee of $350. Or again, I don't have the exact amount, but even the roof is going to cost them $15,000 to fix, which it will not. The entire permit should not be more than $350.
I don't know if we had the liberty of just waiving a fee for that reason.
This is the notice of violation that was issued back in February of 2020. This was right before COVID started.
I mean, I understand that the summons should not have been issued because of COVID, but the permit fee should be waived.
There's no summons, it's just a notice of violation.
I know. But a notice of violation usually follows up with summons if things are not cured. I understand that because of COVID, we did not issue them summons.
No.
But to waive the permit fees, it's just, I don't think that's the proper way of doing it. I don't think we are even allowed to just go ahead and waive permit fees if there are no cause. So unless
okay, we'll convey the message to the homeowner.
Unless the member of the board have any other comments to make.
No, numbers are from December 29th, so I think they have pretty enough time to remedy this, and they have an issue, but December 20th, so I don't think we should waive anything at all.
Okay. If the homeowner would like to come back and discuss anything in with the board, they're welcome to join us in the next meeting.
Sure.
Next
we'll put
item.
them in. The next item is the possible update to the license agreement for using of a parking for 265 East Shore Road. If the member of the board remember, this was a 200 parking stall licensed pre-COVID. After the COVID started, they reduced it to a fourth of that number of parking stalls to 50, and they're paying $4,500. In the past month or so, they have started to increase the number of stalls that they are using. There's a proposal to increase the license agreement to $9,000 per month from $4,500. Brian spoke to the licensee today. Brian, would you like to?
Yeah, basically, I spoke to the licensee who said that he wouldn't be able to afford, he would only be able to afford $8,500 a month. And he also said that he's currently not subletting the spots, and that he did admit that some days he has some more than 50 cars. He said 60, but he says a lot of the time he has a lot less than 50. So we did have a conversation about that. But he was pretty insistent that he could only afford $4,000 more to $8,500 a month.
Brian, were you clear with the gentleman that 8,500 that you're talking about is only 100 stall and not the full 200? Did you understand that?
Well, we didn't get into the number of stalls. We were more talking about what he could afford and why he could afford only that amount of money.
Okay. Is there a message that the board would like to send to the licensee, and we'll discuss it to them?
So I think we need to have a discussion, because as I spoke to the licensee, I told him that I don't know if he's on or not, but I think it should be that that the board or anybody from the building department should not go count the cars every day to see if they have 50 cars or 80 cars or 100 cars. If they are going over the 50 cars, which I believe they have, based on my very brief observation, and I believe a few members of the building department, if that's the case, then it should go up by 50. So it goes from 50 stalls to 100 stalls. And if they want to go more than that, it goes to 150 and then 200. So if they would like to go above 50, which I think they have gone, I think that the fee is going to be 9,000. If they have a difficult time with that, then we can definitely between 850 and 9,000. Right. So it's, I think that's a decision. That's a discussion that needs to be had. We can call it tomorrow, but let me ask the board and Peter, are we able to just to not have to wait until 2 weeks? Can we give me the authority to make that signature, sign the new lease with this person based on our discussion, either 8,500 or 9,000.
Yes, sir. The board can authorize you to execute an amendment to the license agreement at a fee of not to be less than X number of dollars for X number of stalls.
Is the board willing to do that now, or you want to wait another 2 weeks? I think we can. I don't really want to lose time, but it's up to the board. Members of the board, anyone's there?
Yeah.
Would you like to do that, or you want to do it in 2 weeks and go retroactively?
Retroactively.
Yeah, retroactively, yes.
Yeah, let's think about
Okay,
it.
so let's do that. So let's table it in 2 weeks. I guess I'll speak to him and find out why, and I think he needs to get on the call And Brian, I guess, I don't know if you spoke to the other entity, but we'll
Yeah, I
discuss
spoke to
that
him.
after. Okay, we don't
Would
need to
you like-
discuss
would-
it now, but let's see.
Mayor, you
Okay.
want me to call him tomorrow or you want to call him?
Let's you and I talk in the morning, and then we'll
Okay.
decide how we're going to approach. Okay,
Okay, very good.
all right, next.
The next item is a liquor license renewal application or a request from Marja Benny located at 624 Middle Neck Road. This is the letter that they have sent in. If the board does not need to approve it, if there is no objection, we can just let the applicant know that the board has no objection to the liquor license. This is just a renewal. This is not a new liquor license that they are applying with the State Liquor Authority.
I don't have any objections.
No objections.
No.
Okay.
Peter, I'm sorry, I don't remember. Do we have to vote on
Or-
no objection or
The board
just?
has to take no action.
Oh, there's just no action, right?
Okay, so we'll let the applicant know that there was no action taken on it. The one to the last item on the meeting, on the agenda is a architectural and facade review for the project at 733-741 on Middle Neck Road.
Okay,
Is the attorney or the applicant on the call?
anyone's there?
Hi, Mayor Brow. This is John Farrell, the attorney for Yosef Shemtov Gesher Community LLC. I was just going to kind of just sit in and listen. I believe the architect is on the line and he will make the presentation regarding the facade and the design of the building.
Okay,
If the architect is on, just please unmute yourself and state your name and the name of your company for the record.
We can't hear you.
No.
Mr. Ashuri, we can see or your lips moving, but we can't hear you. There must be your phone or something is on mute or your mic is closed.
I think he has an issue. Just send a message, just a minute.
Okay, cool. I guess.
You can also call in.
I know that this is going to maybe take a while to the discussions. Obviously, I want the public to know that tonight's agenda is the facade and architectural review. We are not at the liberty to discuss what was done with the Board of Zoning. Obviously, you can have your discussions on that, but I'm going to ask Peter to also explain further after the presentation, if Mr. Ashuri is ready.
Yes.
You're ready.
Hello.
So after Mr. Ashuri is giving the presentation, I would like for Peter to also explain the differences between Board of Zoning and Board of Trustees and our obligations to these different hearings.
Hi, good evening. My name is Gad Ashuri. I'm the engineer for the applicant, and we have drawings for the facade. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. We did some improvement for the facade. And basically, we try to make this a little bit more modern looking, less impact on the floors. And what we did, generally combining the material for the facade And I have my project manager here that he designed the building from the facade point, and he can give you a little bit more detail. But before I get to that subject, I would like to say that we did some improvement to the building. As far as the facade is concerned, we set back on the fourth floor, created a balcony, and that this is not the latest. Oh, this is from the side. Okay, right. So if you look at the east and west, which is Middle Neck Road, we set back the fourth floor, so the impact of the fourth floor is much visible from the street. The same thing is on the other side, which is the east facade. We created some balconies, which is Juliet balconies on the Middle Neck Road, to give a little design and combination of different material to make it more modern looking. On the North Road, there is a circular driveway, and the intention was to take the impact of the cars going on the street a little bit less and bring it to a point that any delivery man or any drop-off goes to the circular driveway, and then he comes back and no waiting line on North Drive. We elevated the first floor a little bit above the street, and everything is covered with landscaping. Now, I'm going to give the microphone to the project manager who came with all this beautiful idea, and he can give you a little bit more information for the facade.
Hi, this is Oz Chetan. Our office with Gado Shiri worked on the programming and planning adjacencies unit mix of this project. Obviously it's a multi-family residential project, and our effort is to impact the to reduce the impact on the residential well-known texture of Great Neck. So in order to do that, we addressed different facade materials that is warmer, and a combination of stucco and composite materials. As Gadi mentioned, there's a lot of solutions that addresses a few concerns of the size of the building.
Can you please show the facade which is on the North Road? I think that's exactly. This is the design actually.
Yeah, this is the revised version that addresses a warmer composite material that is, a little bit of more warm, and it can be a veneer cladding, right? And it breaks up the pattern in a way that the north facade on the North Road is not a continuous wall that is 100 feet long. It's divided into modules that is more into Great Neck residential scale. That is each module is about 40-50 feet long. As Gadi mentioned, there's the design addressed a lot of concerns that may develop by raising the first floor. It less impact on the foot traffic, so the doors of the community facility doesn't open into the sidewalks. It's quite set back that the foot traffic is not impacted or impacted minimum. The driveway does the similar by creating a porte cochere or waiting area, drive around, drop-off area that is independent from the driveway that is going into the garage on the north side. It's about the multifamily development is about creating the right density. It can be a lot denser if these problems are not addressed, or these solutions is not addressed right. But breaking up the facade, breaking up volumes, breaking up the texture, combining with the right hard surfaces, solid surfaces, elevating first floors, your entrances are in multiple ways, definitely reduces this problem. The visually, like we mentioned, the cladding is a lot warmer, a lot homier, and more within the village's texture is specifically addressed with this revised version compared to the one you were looking. And otherwise, full metal clad buildings or full stucco buildings like the neighboring buildings, it would look more like a commercial building. But this is a living solution.
Do you have any other angle of this project? Because I see that you do have a 5 feet or so setback on the 4th floor on Middle Neck Road. And then on North Road, no, if you can go to, right, just on this one.
I'd like
and
to
then,
see the east and the south. We're
right.
looking at the north and the west.
Based on what I'm looking at, is there a setback on the 4th floor on the east side? Because this rendering is not showing any setback.
This rendering is not showing it because we focused on the street exposure. But if you look at the plan of the roof, or actually 4th floor, the drawings identify.
If you look at, Gad, let me jump in here. If you look at I believe we have an older rendering. It doesn't have the same coloring on the building, but we do have an older rendering of the rear of the building. There's some trees that you can see. That's it. So this is the rear of the building, and you can see where it's stepped in on the 4th floor
Just tell me
of the trees there.
You can tell me what you mean by rear of the building. You mean this is the longer side is the east, and the shorter one, the one on the left, is the south exposure?
No, we have.
Yes, this is east, but not. Yeah,
this rendering.
This part shows where these trees are is where the adjacent residence would be on North Road, the next adjacent resident.
Right. So what is
that's the east facade? East facade and south facade, correct.
South facade, that's going to be next to the other building on Middle Neck Road, correct? Yes.
No.
Correct.
No.
Part of it, yes.
No.
Yes, on south.
Yes, it is. The south is the south side of the building. The shorter side in this view faces the buildings on Middle Neck Road.
Okay.
The east view faces the houses on North Road.
Okay.
Yeah. Which has a 5-foot setback also at the 4th floor, which is this view.
Right. So now I see this. So on this view, I can see that I see the south exposure and the east exposure. Obviously, from what I'm seeing, I can't see behind the trees, but I'm just assuming that there are no breaks as far as the material on the south sides or the east side. Am I correct?
Yes, that is correct. It's all stucco.
It's all stucco.
Yes.
At the lot line, but part of the landscaped area. There's a 15-foot setback from the lot line, and that 15-foot will accommodate the landscaping, which is actually trees, right? In a non-perspective rendering, rendered in this image. But you will actually see less of it because of the 15-foot setback in a landscaped area that you would see in the site plan.
There's another rendering of the east-north.
Yeah. Again, the revised rendering, which only looks at this addresses the design intent a lot better, but you're right. If you, you know, you look at the bulk of the building and the setback, yeah, it's the other rendering they were addressing.
As far as any lights on the building on any of the exposures, I don't believe that there should be anything on the south side, but are there any, what are these, what are the other pictures you're showing? It's just other renderings?
The other renderings of the character of the other buildings in the same neighborhood.
Oh,
So this slide is actually showing the two main facade systems, which is IFA system with the stucco, which you see in white, and its applications on the right. And the secondary facade is this composite, you know, veneer finish that you can is a rain screen system basically, but you know, and it's showing an examples of its application and why it's making it, you know, a lot warmer than a plain facade, right? Or a just stucco only. So these are examples of, like, you know, real life examples of the usage of the two proposed materials of the main facade. On the right side is the basically the accents where you see the French balconies, the metal windows, the aluminum metal windows. This is basically a material board. And the pavers are landscape is you know, intertwined. So again, the effort is to minimize the street impact, and the glass railings at the top, you know, railing definitely needed, but you know, to be not to add to the bulk, you know, to be more clear, more sky view. So this board's meant for basically the materials of the building, and the two main in the bottom and the accent to be on the side. The next slide is meant for the similar applications in the Great Neck with the bakery, similar wood and metal mix, and the supermarket, similar the stucco and the cladding material, and also the multifamily development and the similar applications. For us, this works out good, and it's a good example of the design intent and what's the final product is aiming for. And actually not this tall as it's shown on the multifamily project, but the others are more likely on the street side. And I'd like to point out that, you know, it's broken, you know, breaking into pieces is very important, like, you know, on corner lot developments and, you know, basically street walls that are longer than 100 feet. You know, how you break up, even at the supermarket, you see that language broken up into pieces by different facade, different materials, the wood section, the white stucco section, then it's wood section again. That doesn't feel a large building, right? So our effort is to break it into pieces that it's not visually impacting.
I'm assuming the entrance to the garage is on North Road.
Yes.
How would they enter?
There is at the end of the lot, almost the end of the lot. If you look at the plans, you can see it. Or at this.
One more, if you or
next to the, you can see that on the plan, right after.
You don't have it on the rendering.
You can see it on the rendering a little bit, but not much, because it's in the corner all the way. If you want, take a look at the rendering.
Yeah.
All the way at the end, next to the last tree, there is an entrance.
On the left side, there is a large opening at the end of the building on the left side.
Where's that elevation?
The elevation of the sidewalk at the north, actually, if you want to know exactly, it's at northeast corner of the lot. And the elevation,
Where is the elevation to show us?
where is the elevation of what?
Where's your elevation drawing to show us? Over there?
So this one here, this one here maybe shows a little bit
Where
more
those,
clear.
where those two individuals are standing on the plan,
I see it.
Yes, yes.
that's where the driveway entrance is for the garage, the
How wide,
subterranean
how
garage.
wide is that entrance?
So it's all the way at the end of the building
Mhm. Do they have?
on North Road, right?
Correct.
Yes, on North Road, yes.
Got it.
Yes.
So it's right after the circular driveway, right?
Right,
That is correct.
5 feet after, 4 feet after the circular driveway, yes.
And
You
how
see
wide-
there is bushes there?
How many feet between the building and the arborvitae?
It's 10 feet and another sidewalk is probably 25 feet. Let's see that on, no, it's
Yes.
10 feet, 10 feet.
From where to where?
From the property
It's-
line,
It's going, it's 15, it's a 15-foot setback.
Setback.
So the arborvitae, if the arborvitae is a foot wide or 2 feet wide, it's about 13 feet from the building to the arborvitae.
Yeah, so the 15-foot setback to the building and to the driveway, another 2 foot. So you're still like looking 15 feet.
And the arborvitae block the view to the neighbors? Is that for the neighbor who lives next door?
yes, all of this like a fence for the next door. Yes,
And the arborvitae are on the property line?
it is within our property line, yes.
So how much more beyond the arborvitae is the, does the property line end?
Around a foot and a half. We set all these plants, trees within a foot and a half. The center of it is around a foot and a half.
Mr. Ashuri, I am looking at the entrance to the building, and the circular driveway. I don't know how that works if the circular driveway comes out as if someone's going in and coming out from the circular driveway and another car is pulling out from the garage.
Can you look at the drawing A008? Can you look at the drawing A008, please?
They don't
You don't have the first floor there?
Only put up what you sent me. If you didn't send me, I can't put it up. I don't have it.
Okay, look at this side plan. You see from the left you have the greenery, which is 15 feet.
Oh, sorry about that. Hold on one second. There you go.
From the left, all the way to the left, you have the trees and the planting. That's 15 feet. Then you have around 22 feet of curb cut and driveway into the building. And then there is another 6.5 feet, 7 feet, again, planting. And then you have the exit for the circular driveway. Again, you have...
No, my question was from the circular driveway ending on the east side to entrance to the garage, which is more slightly east of that. You told me that there's 4 feet clearance between the two.
It's actually 7, 8 feet almost. According to the plans that we have, A008, you must have, I think you have it, I don't know why we didn't submit this, but this was in the Board of Zoning, it's in the building department. That greenery area between the entrance to the underground parking and the exit of the driveway, circular driveway, is around 7.5 feet, 8 feet. You see that greenery?
Right. So I
Right,
see.
that,
So you're saying that's 7.5. So again, I'm
Yes.
just, I don't know if we are at the liberty to even discuss this. It's just for me to know because I wasn't there when it was presented to BZA. I know we're doing the facade. Peter, is this considered part of the facade and architecture?
You know, the board is free to inquire about any of these topics. Ultimately, the board, if it chooses to take architectural jurisdiction as well as facade review, which have very similar criteria, the board can take all of this into account in ruling upon the criteria
The
for those
question
two
that
items.
I'm asking, is it considered part of the facade and architecture or is it part of the, I believe it is, but you correct me.
it is part of,
In my view, it is.
It is, okay. Okay, I mean, that's, so it's.
Yeah, may I have one comment, Mayor? Louis,
Yeah.
Super. See two curb cuts here. One's 50 feet and one is 20 feet, 4 inches.
Tell me which one is which.
all the old curb cuts are going to disappear, and the new curb cuts, the entrance into the circular driveway is around 18 foot 6. The exit is around 18 foot 6. Then there is a gap of 8 feet, and then you have 22 feet and a change to go into the underground parking.
The village code says 18 feet max.
18 foot 8. That's what we have on the drawing.
The village code says 18 feet max.
Okay, we will revise it to 18 feet.
This is a site plan issue. The width of the width of the curb cuts is a site plan issue. We're here to discuss architectural review and the facade of the building, not the site issues. So I think we're getting a little far afield.
I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah.
Probably that's why you shouldn't have a facade review. Sorry.
Again, please, everybody, the public, please keep your comments to yourself. You will have the opportunity to speak when called upon after the presentation is made.
I have a quick question about a circular driveway. You said that for deliveries and stuff that they'll be able to use a circular driveway. I don't think the height can fit any UPS or FedEx truck to go through it. So if there's any deliveries done, they'll be parking on North Road. They won't be able to use a circular driveway. Am I correct?
When I said delivery, I didn't mean UPS truck, and I said if somebody orders the food and the taxi comes and they take somebody from, it's better to have a circular driveway for all the other traffic that is normal traffic instead of jamming up the North Road.
People drop off Uber, your Uber Wait, your car service, your food delivery service, but yeah, UPS and FedEx is like, that's considered commercial delivery and commercial trucks.
Okay, so they'll be actually parking on North Road. Because that's, for me, it's a little bit of an issue to park on North Road, a big truck. That might block the view of the cars pulling out the circle driveway or pulling out of the garage. So I'm kind of concerned about that.
Big trucks park on the FedEx and UPS trucks park on North Road every day, making Amazon deliveries and other e-commerce deliveries all the time.
Homes, to single family
Our I agree with you, but the way Amazon and other e-commerce users design their deliveries, they try and use a single delivery point. Then it's not that they're going to have 60 different deliveries a day. If they have one address with multiple deliveries, they will try and get them all onto one truck or two trucks. They don't want drivers making multiple trips.
I understand that, and that means the truck will be there for an extended period of time. So why not make the circular driveway double height and maybe cut into that second floor.
Let me make a little bit clarification. Do you see that green area between the entrance and the exit? That area is around 59 feet.
Which
So
one? Say
the
it again.
part
Where?
between the circular driver entrance and exit, right there, yes. So when you see the two trees coming down at the sidewalk, right, that area is at least 60 feet. Any UPS or Amazon or anything else can park there for 10 minutes and 15 minutes, and there are parking spots there. So they can park there for half an hour. I don't know how much the delivery is going to take time, but for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, they can go in and out, and they leave. And that is not impacting the entrance or the entrance to the underground parking, which is another 40 feet, 35 feet away.
If you park a truck in where the streets are, you're going to block the view of people pulling out of the circle driveway or coming to parking lot because there's a big truck there. It's not a 4-lane street. This is a 2-lane street. So you're going to block somewhat the view of people pulling out. And that's a little concern.
You can have the same argument for an entrance to a garage of one family if the UPS truck or Amazon truck is parking on the next lot. It's the same thing.
Yeah, if I may, like, you know, it's the era we're living in, right? Everything is delivered, and, like, you know, it's very convenient. And a single family home would create the same FedEx traffic as in a multi-family home, right?
Yeah, but you're talking about 60 apartments in comparison to one family house. You can't compare 60 apartments to one family house. So it is going to be there for extended time. If the guy has to make 10 deliveries, it'll take a little bit longer. But I mean, that's something that.
But if I may finish, if I may finish, the amount of orders is one thing, and it's creating traffic, right? But you know, 10 single-family homes may create more traffic if you end up, you know, with the same amount of orders, right? But buildings like this, multifamily buildings like this, have multiple entrances. The building management can address accordingly, right? You can dedicate one of the entrances on actually Middle Neck Road to be the delivery point. And, you know, FedEx and delivery trucks, they register this, and, you know, they don't use the main entrance, and they use your side entrance, right? So actually it's a lot more, the problem is a lot more addressable in multifamily buildings. Your deliveries in trucks, you can manage when and which point to enter. And you can definitely tell them, we're not accepting deliveries through the main door, go to the side entrance onto the Middle Neck Road. However, you can't do that on a single family home on a North Road, right? So there's
sir, there's an entrance from Middle Neck Road into the building.
There's a exit. There's an exit.
No, people can walk in from Middle Neck Road into the building.
Yes.
Or
that's a side entrance.
Gallery.
Yeah.
If there is a
show it to us where it is?
You have to have the plans, because there is a stair that is going up, and there is two entrances that you can look at the plans. Actually, I cannot. You know where the 733 mark is? The opposite side of it, to the right, all the way, there is a ramp going up, and then comes into the building.
Does that go to the art center, or does that go into the residential?
No, it goes to the art center and to the residential. There is a at the back if you want to know
if you open the site plan, you would see there's a side alley for the egress stair to exit, which.
Can we look at the site plan for a second? Okay.
Yeah. So that area is right.
You see the ramp coming up to that elevation 87, and it keeps going to the left, all the way to the left, and then there is an exit right here that you don't see it here, but it's in the plans. In the first floor drawing, we created specially second means of egress to come here. So whoever wants to go from the Middle Neck Road can come from this route all the way to the lobby of the building.
So you're saying that you're going to get the deliveries to go from Middle Neck Road?
Listen, he has the option. I'm not saying that this is the only option. If the traffic is an issue and it could be resolved by instructing the delivery UPS, or these are big trucks that you cannot locate them too long on the North Road, you can always ask them to go from the side, yes.
Mayor Burrell, I just want to jump in here real quick and note that this building will have a 24-hour doorman too. So it's not like a FedEx driver or a UPS driver is going to have to go into the building and is going to be able to deliver parcels to each individual unit. He's going to deliver them to the doorman at the main entrance, and the doorman will make sure that the tenants get their packages when they pick up their regular mail at the main entranceway. So it's not that they're going to be in the building for prolonged periods of time. They're going to go in, make their drop off at those central location, and then they're going to leave. If it does become a problem and the village wants us to find an alternate way to accept deliveries, we can certainly use one of the alternate entrances into the building and have the doorman meet the driver at one of the egress doors. But I think in terms of the use of North Road, you're talking a very short period of time for the driver to put the packages on a hand truck and bring them to the main entrance and drop them off and then leave.
Okay, let me ask you another question. I probably missed it. What is the height clearance on the ramp on a circular driver?
Around 10 feet.
10 feet.
Yes.
That's
Below 10
enough
feet.
for just regular cars and minivans.
Yes.
Got it. Anyone knows what is the Amazon truck's heights?
7.5 feet.
How many?
They are definitely not more than 7.5 feet.
It's about 7.5 feet. 7.5 to 8 feet high.
The truck's around 9 feet, but the Amazon is around 7.5 feet.
Okay, so Amazon can go through. Okay.
UPS and FedEx will not get through. So just about 9.5 to 10 feet.
Right.
So in essence, you can have the UPS trucks and FedEx park on Middle Neck Road rather on North Road.
Yes, I'm not getting into traffic business, but I still believe that they can park on North Road for a period of time without impacting the entrance to our driveway for underground parking, or to the next neighbor, which is another 50 feet at least down the road, on the right side of the Middle Neck Road. But the entrance to the number 11, I believe it's number 9, North Road, is exactly parallel to our entrance, but it's on the other side. So I don't believe that the Amazon parking on the right side is going to block the entrance to the left side driveway of a number 9 or number 11. And number 10 is at least another 50 feet, 45 feet away from our parking.
Okay.
I believe with all the modification that we did to the facade, the colors, the material, the look, the windows, the balconies, setting up the fourth floor 5 feet voluntarily in to eliminate the impact of the 4-story building is a positive thing, and it's with the character of the neighborhood. That's the bottom line.
So I just want to go back again to the facade. I just have a few questions just to clarify for me, because as I said, I think also the board wanted to at least have some understanding of what went into the floor plan and you know, the previous board's approval. As far as the facade goes, I do believe that a lot of the characters are in conformity with the other newer buildings that have come to our village, and I think the surrounding villages. Does anyone have any comments to make from the member of the board or questions regarding the facade and architecture, or any other questions you may want to have?
The fourth floor setback that you have, it's really just the setback. How many feet is it a setback on the west side?
We set back on the west side, which is the Middle Neck Road, 5 feet.
And what's the setback on the east side?
On the east side is 4 feet.
4 feet. And there's no setback on the south or the north side?
That is correct.
I mean,
that is not correct. The fourth floor is set back 19 feet from on the east side.
No, they are talking about the facade. They are talking about the facade, where it goes straight up.
Yeah,
On the-
5 feet from the
Trustee
facade of
Mendelson.
the building.
Trustee
but
Mendelson.
Yes.
What was the question specifically? Was it about the fourth floor from the facade of the building, or was it from the property line?
From the facade of the building.
Then I apologize.
So it's 5 feet on the west side, 4 feet on the east side, and no setbacks on the north or the south side, correct?
That is correct. But there is a few balconies there. There is recessed balconies on the fourth floor, third floor, second floor. If you look at the rendering again, you can see it's not a straight line. It's jogging in and out with the balconies.
Can I ask you something? I mean, the setbacks on the east and the west side, that's to reduce the bulk of the building?
That I didn't understand the question. Can you please repeat?
The setbacks of the fourth floor.
Right.
On the east and the west, that's obviously to reduce the bulk of the building.
That is correct. That is correct.
And so can I ask why that wasn't important to do on a 200-foot north facade?
It's impacting the entire layout of the apartments, but we had room to do it at the areas that are mostly visible, which is Middle Neck Road. And voluntarily, we did it on the other side too, to have a more or less symmetrical condition. So on the north Middle Neck Road, the way we went through all the meetings, we felt that if we set it back, it's much easier. And then on the east side, because we didn't want also to impact the light on the next door property, we set it back another 4 feet voluntarily. Yes.
Hi. On the picture on Middle Neck Road, where it says 733, to the right of that picture, looks like glass and a lounge inside there on the first floor. What are we looking at on the bottom, on the first floor there, where there's two staircases go up?
Those are the two entrances that they go to the art center.
So that's the art center we're looking at with those chairs, those lounges.
That is correct.
And on the north road side, there's another staircase before the
That
entrance.
also, that goes through the stair of the building. That's one means of egress coming out. And also there is an entrance or exit, second means of egress from the art center to come out.
But
So
to
they-
the left of that entrance is a two
Right,
big
right.
underneath
Right, those two,
is that an apartment
That-
or
no, that white, immediately to the left of 733, there is a staircase going up to the building.
right? But to
And
the
that
left,
staircase is the second means of egress for the people to come down and get out.
yeah, I got that.
And then the left door is also an exit for the tenant of the art gallery.
I'm just saying where that thing with the white shirts.
That is correct. That's where the man standing with the light above his head.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. The balcony. There's two big panes of glass. What is those?
That's also art
Art
center.
center.
Oh, that's all one part of it. Okay,
Art center.
I got you. Okay.
Part of the, it's still Middle Neck Road is, a main street, and it's the development is keeping the same language and distinguishing a residential entrance and a community facility, or more like a retail setup. But that corner is still non-residential activity for the community facility.
I have a few more questions. One, are there any lightings on the building?
Well, we didn't concentrate exactly on the lighting, but the balconies definitely have the lighting, and I want to hear from the board if we were planning to shoot the lights against the walls, but then we said maybe we shouldn't do that. We should, listen to what the members of the board have any concerns. We can always fix the lighting in a different manner.
I mean, I do believe that there must be some lighting on this building, not just for safety reason, but just for beautifying the building at night. I think it pops the building out.
We were planning to have where the greenery is, or the planting, and to shoot some lights. If you see the planting, on each corner of that planting we have lights. So let's say that you have
that's for the sidewalk, isn't it?
That's for general light of sidewalk and entrance to the building and everything else.
I'm talking about
I don't know.
On the building.
On the building, we can put on the facade indirect lighting, yes, because we don't want to. Yes.
The other question I had, on the east side, where it's actually butting to the neighbor's house, are there any balconies on the east side?
No balcony, except the fourth floor that we set back, just to reduce the impact of the light and shadow or whatever, and we wanted the symmetry of the both sides, so there is nothing else, no.
So on the fourth floor, there's balcony that is usable, or there's a balcony that's going to be used for greenery only?
The balconies are for the tenants, yes.
Private terrace.
We can make those balconies on the fourth floor on that east side facing North Road non-accessible to the residents. They are only 4 feet wide, so there's barely room out there to put a chair and sit comfortably. But if the board prefers, we can certainly do something to restrict the access to that area.
Got it. I think just for privacy purposes, I think it would be a little bit, at least more screen, more private if the people on the fourth floor are not looking down on the neighbor's backyard on that side.
I agree with you, Mayor Bro.
Any other comments from members of the board as far as the facade?
Well, I still have my question about bulk on the North Road. Why there was, I think they could have done a setback on that fourth floor.
Well, Trustee Sobel, I think the reason we didn't do the setback or step it in on North Road, because that side of the building faces the 3-story commercial building across the street on North Road from us. So there's another commercial building directly across the street. In addition, by setting back the building to reduce the visual impact on Middle Neck Road and North Road, we've already reduced those units in size on the 4th floor. So the 4th floor units will all be smaller than the others. So we were trying to, address the visual impact from the parts of the building that would be most visible to the residents.
I mean, it was an option to reduce the number of units on the fourth floor.
I understand that. We did obtain the variance relief from the Board of Appeals for the number of units and for the setbacks. We did everything we could to try and break up the architecture and reduce the visual impact of the building while still maintaining a consistent design.
Aside from the 3-story building across the street, which is smaller than your building, are there any houses directly across the street from you on the north side?
Only 9.
Number 9.
I believe there is one.
Let me talk about
it. I think Mr. Shemtov can give a little bit more information, but there is only one building there.
Hi, good evening. Yosef Shemtov, 22 Arundel. If you look at, by chance, Mr. Cohen, would you be able, please, to go on Google Maps to show the office building across North Road? So the reason I'm asking for that is that office building is almost, coming along our building, and they have a parking facility, and they did purchase the single family adjacent to them that I don't want to get to people's private plan, but the reason what I'm trying to say is that our building is aligned with the other building, the office building and the parking combined. If you look at Google Map, you could see that clearly.
Set the light. Yeah.
What Mr. Shemtov says is the end of property, which is located at number 9 North Road, is exactly matching the end of our property. So the office building plus number 9 North is equal to the entire length of our property.
Correct.
Wow, very big.
See the driveway of this house, the end of the driveway of this house, not even the property, is matching our property.
Isn't the driveway on the east side of that house?
The end of the property, no, the left side.
This is number 8, I believe.
No, number 9, right after the office building.
Right. So this White House is part of the same office building starting from the corner of Middle Neck Road and North Road.
Can I show this to them?
Take my this.
Mayor Burrell, is there any other questions from the member of the board?
I don't know if anyone else has questions. I mean, I brought up my concerns. I think I understand that the bulk is an issue. As far as the design, I do believe that it goes with the design of other structures that have come up in our village. And listen, I think it's a nice design. I would like to see if the members of the board have any other comments or questions. Otherwise, I would like to open it to the public. Okay, if there are no questions from the board, I think we can just open it.
Okay, so if you have a comment, you can unmute yourself, state your name and address. We please ask.
Everybody will get a turn.
What's that part?
Just everybody will get a turn. Please don't all do it at once.
Yes, thank you. Lloyd, I see you have your hand up, Lloyd, so you could go first.
Hi, again, this is Lloyd Ebrani, number 19 North Road. I'm at the end of the block on the side of the commercial building that's currently there. If I'm not mistaken, his name is Mr. Shemtov, who's proposing the project. Mentioned that the commercial building and the house are one. They are one unit. They are not one unit. The commercial building is one building, and the owner is the same as the residential. Currently, there is a residential and there is a business. There is a commercial building. They are not one unit. The entrance to the commercial building is on Middle Neck Road, and it is not on North Road, and the rest of the building is fenced in, so there is no access. There is no Amazon truck delivery or UPS delivery parking on North Road, trying to deliver on North Road. They have to park on Middle Neck Road and deliver on Middle Neck Road, or they have to go into the property on the lower parking to deliver. This is one issue that the 733 has not properly responded to yet. Another issue that I have with it is everything seems to have gone way, way, way out of hand on this. I understand you have a beautiful property, beautiful project in hand. As much lipstick as you put on it, the nature of it is still the same. It is a huge project. I love the project. The size of it kills me. And the fact that the entrance to it is on North Road, it's going to completely destroy the whole nature of North Road. Your traffic report says that only a couple of cars are going to be added. It's not that much. Let's face it, it's 60 units. As much as your traffic report wants to downplay it, during COVID, they did the report during COVID when there was a lockdown and nobody was moving. This traffic report should be redone again, probably after the COVID is done. when the schools are open, so you actually see what the traffic here is. The traffic sometimes can take 10 minutes for someone to get out of North Road onto Middle Neck Road in the morning, or the number of cars and deliveries that are going to be added is tremendous. Currently, we have 10 or 12 residential units on the street. You're adding an extra 60 units. That's 7 total. However you put it, it's a lot of extra cars. Why it has to be on North Road, I don't know. A third point that I have is that right across the street, it's not all that far. Just walking is going to take you a good 1.5 minutes. You have the Great Neck House with the art center and everything. Why are you putting an art center here? Because the art center is going to definitely add a lot of traffic. All of those kids, they have to be driven in, or they have to have a car that comes in and they have to park somewhere, and they have to be picked up, all of them at the same time. It's not that they're going to be staggered through, it's not a museum that people come in leisurely and they leave leisurely. There are classes. People come in all at the same time, leave all at the same time. This is not what your traffic report is showing. Your traffic report is really garbage. It was a joke. There are other points, but I just want to see how you can respond to just these 3.
Again, I do appreciate your question, Mr. Imrani. I think we can try to answer these questions, but I want everyone to know that the purpose of this meeting is the architectural and facade review. The traffic study and all those other issues have been addressed, and we're not at the liberty of discussing it, or we can discuss it, but we're not at the liberty of commenting on those. Those are the issues that were decided on by the Board of Zoning. So I just want to note that your concern is noted. Anyone else would like to make a comment?
Yes. George Prelwitz, 12 North Road.
Right, but before, George, I'm sorry, before you speak, I would like to actually hear from people on North Road first before anyone else speaks, because obviously they are the ones that probably will get impacted by this more than anyone else. So
I'm on 12 North Road.
I know. That's why I said I want you to speak. I didn't say that I don't want. I said I want people from North Road to speak first before other people come in.
That's what I'm saying. I'm from 12 North Road.
I know. I just said after you, I want other people from North Road to speak before anyone else.
After me.
After you, yes.
Oh, okay. Now I understand. I have lots of things to say, but to start with, I'm just going to make a brief comment about how I am just so amazed that a project of this magnitude has gone this far without substantial community input. It has morphed from a few years ago from a small project on Middle Neck Road into, during the pandemic, into this morphing of a gigantic mega project that has come down North Road. Instead of being on Middle Neck Road, it's come down North Road. It's taken 2 residential properties. It's taken 6 North Road. It's taken 8 North Road. It's come right down to the driveway of my neighbor's house on 10 North Road. It's 1 house away from me. And this project has not had any community input. You say you've sent out registered letters. I have received 2 for this project. I would like to see just how many of a total of registered letters you have sent to everybody, and just how many people have actually signed these registered. I know I have talked to people who have not signed for these registered letters that have been left in their mailbox. So these really are illegal registered letters. You have not notified the public properly. That's just one issue. I can do others, but I will leave it at that for right now, because I really feel that this whole issue should be tabled until the public can get involved in what the site plan and what this building is going to actually look like before we actually start talking about what the facade is going to look like. And I see pictures of like along my neighbor's driveway. The architect is showing arborvitaes right on his property line. His driveway goes right to the property line. The architect is going to put arborvitaes right on the property line. That distance between that building and my neighbor's property line is 14 feet. The entrance to the underground parking where there's going to be in excess of 100 cars is right next to his driveway. You're going to have people coming from a 2-story below grade parking area. That's going to be right next to his driveway. I mean, how bad is that? You've got the circular driveway right next to the entrance to the underground parking. That's 3 driveways right next to each other. And that's just one issue. We can go on where the public should have been involved in all of these issues. You come to me now with this project, and as it's finished, where we're supposed to decide, do we like the siding? Do we like the windows? It's just gone way too far without our input. I'll stop there.
Thank you.
Mayor, would it be helpful for me to just briefly address the distinction between the 2 boards?
Yes, I understand. I understand that. I just wanted to make that comment. Whether you can comment on it or not, I just wanted to put that in the record that we have not had enough input and that the registered letters, I believe, have not been sufficient. And I don't believe you can actually show me the signatures that everybody has actually received them properly.
With respect, sir, I still think it would be.
Yes, Peter, I just wanted to say that I understand that
Go ahead, Mayor.
the speaker who just spoke understands the difference between the boards. I just want this one more time just to clarify, to say what the purpose of this meeting tonight is, and the distinction between Board of Zoning and Board of Trustees, the legal aspects of each board and what their capabilities are as quasi-judicial, board, the Board of Zoning, the power they have, and what the powers that the Board of Trustees has, and the separation between the 2. So I think that would be a good review for everyone to know, and then we can go ahead with the meeting again.
Sure. Just broadly speaking, the project as currently proposed does not conform to the village's zoning laws. That is, this project could not be built as of right. And what has occurred here is there another board, the Board of Trustees, enacts the zoning code, and under the existing zoning code, this project could not be built as of right. However, the law also provides for a Board of Zoning Appeals, which has the right to grant variances, exceptions, to say that a given project that does not conform to the zoning code may be built anyway. And this project has already gone before the Zoning Board of Appeals and received the variances necessary for it to go forward. The Board of Trustees, where you are tonight, does not have the power to overrule the Zoning Board of Appeals. In fact, it might be said, arguably, that the Board of Zoning Appeals has the power to overrule the Board of Trustees, in the sense that the Board of Trustees enacts a zoning code, and then the Zoning Board of Appeals can say, notwithstanding that enactment, we're going to let this project go forward, and grant variances from the zoning code that would enable the project to go forward. However, in addition to the variances that must be obtained from the Zoning Board of Appeals, and which have been obtained, and I might add that they have also taken on site plan jurisdiction, which I understand will be coming up shortly in front of the Board of Zoning Appeals, the Board of Trustees has the very limited authority to determine architectural and facade review. And the criteria for architectural and facade review are fairly limited. And you have already heard the comments made about, is the design appropriate? Are the materials appropriate? those kinds of issues, and those limited design and feature issues are outlined in the code, but those are the only criteria on which the board can make a decision about architectural and facade review. It is a completely different board, the zoning board, that has authorized the project to go forward despite its non-compliance with the general rules of the village code. I hope that that was helpful.
Yes, I just want to respond. I understand that, but at the beginning of this presentation, you talked about what are the setbacks on the 4th floor? How does that affect the appearance from the east side, from the west side? So and then you talked about the circular drive, about cars, about the height, about parking. You addressed a lot of issues that are beyond facade. So I felt we have the right to make points too.
George, you absolutely have rights to make points. And we're not telling you that you shouldn't make points, and that's what we're listening. One thing I want you to, and everyone to understand is, we are here to listen to you. But as the council explained, there are certain things we can do and there are certain things we cannot do. I would like to hear, just because I think it's important for our board, who is an elected board, to understand what the public is concerned about. And we're going to take that into consideration, all the concerns that we hear. Anyone else would like to make a comment?
Yes, Mayor. May I speak, please?
Who is this? Yes, you may.
Yes, this is Jack Ryan, 15 North Road.
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you? Good evening to you. Okay, so my comment is that it was a couple of hearings in front of Board of Zoning and Appeal. But the problem was that the residents, they were not notified properly, and the timing was completely off because this happened in the midst of the pandemic. And we didn't know what's going on. So the residents' voice was not heard. So if the Board of Zoning and Appeal went ahead and gave a permit for this kind of project without hearing the resident street, there is something here off. Something here is irregular because they have to come and hear us too. You know, this building invades a side street that has single home residence. And it's coming way too much inside of our street. And we are not welcoming this project. And we were not heard of. So what do you suggest? How we can take this back to that board? And they must also hear us before they're making a decision. This doesn't work like that. How many sessions they had? Means this is going under the radar and they're doing it way too fast, way premature, and they're giving variance and approval to such a big project without hearing the public. This is how it works? I never heard it before. Before, if you wanted to take a permit to build even a single home, there would be numerous of meetings, hearings. They would hear the neighbors. They would always take in consideration of the old residents. You know, this Mr. George Pravitz is like a 40 or 50 years resident of Gredneck. We are 30 years on this street. And you don't want to hear our voice? This is not right. I'm sorry. You should take this back to the Board of Zoning and Appeal. They must hear us, and then they can make a fair decision. This was one-sided, and I don't know how they presented this project to them that they got the approval, but no matter how do you look at that, this is a bad precedent for the village, and this is unprecedented. A 4-story building for this kind of size, invading a side street of residential single home thing. It's unheard of. I'm sorry. This is not right. This is not right, and you should not let this happen under your watch. If you are the mayor that we supported you and we elected you, and you are a fair guy, and you're a God-fearing guy, this thing must be fair. It should be a fair hearing. And then if they want to grant a permit, they can go ahead and give a permission. But this permission was done way too fast and way premature. Thank you.
Well said, Jack.
Okay. Again, if anyone has anything new to add, I would appreciate if they can.
Yes, I do.
Is that my turn?
Yes, Ken.
Okay. Sorry, I have to say this first. I don't live in the
Ken, excuse me, just say your name and address for the record, please.
Okay, that's what I'm going to say right away.
Thank you.
I don't live in Northville, but I'm your neighbor, 7 Garthel Lane. We all live together. We all fight together, okay? I would like to say something particular for the 733. I've been involved in the 733 presentation so many times. So I probably can say something a little bit fair because I've encountered almost similar situation for my street, which is a dead-end street. We also have a huge development at our site, across street at the corner, okay? The only difference is that actually, I think 777 77 Northern Middle Neck Road has less variances because their lot may be larger. But we are dealing with additional car getting to our narrow dead-end street, and so that's why I have sympathy to all yours. But I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not going to talk about 777 anymore from this point. I'm going to focus on 733 now. But before I do that, I would like to say something. One of the gentlemen in the neighborhood talking about this traffic study, I think using very strong words of that. I want to remind the mayor and the board on the December 1st meeting, another project of Stony Run Road or something right next to a synagogue. One of the residents want to request for a parking waiver because they need the extra parking spaces. And towards the end of his presentation, he asked for the mayor was saying, do I need to get the car consultant? I think he meaning traffic consultant. And our mayor replies this. You can check the recording if you want. I appreciate that. Actually, I appreciate that response very dearly because the mayor was saying common sense. Why don't you use our common sense? Common sense make more sense than any study, okay? And also the other priority is the safety of the children on the street. That's more than the mayor, some other board member also mentioned that. I want you to remember all you have said before and apply those sympathy and the common sense to all other similar projects, including 733 and the 777. Okay, the common sense of people is more crucial and accurate. That's why your own personal experience, I trust you in that. Okay, and then I'm going to talk about variances. Let me finish.
No, I just
you don't go to asking for variances just because you have so many things you want to build on such a tiny street. Variances doesn't really work on that way, okay? It's the common sense again. We're sorry to use the word again. The variances need to be legal. Need to be the way a variances usually works is that if you fall into some of the following category, should be turned down right away. One of the things is that if your variance is going to affect the neighborhood scale or whatever, okay, there's no variances anymore, okay? If your variances is self-created, then it's not the variances anymore. I think our board kind of failed to review the variances carefully because this is spread out, this is printed out in all legal documentation in terms of how do you see variances. All these variances are crazy. If you look at them, most of them are all self-created, okay? And we need to see whether there's a legal point we can fight for all these approved variances because they don't look right at all. Okay, and also the variances are hinged to each other. If you look there, planning.
Can I have to stop you? For a second?
No,
Let me
not yet,
stop.
not yet, not yet. Please.
This is not,
I'm gonna have to mute.
I allow you to speak, but you have to understand one thing. I hear you, but this is not what we are here to discuss. I'm not Are we here? Hello?
Yeah.
We can hear
Right.
you.
So I don't want to cut people off, but you know what? I have heard, and I know your concern.
No, you are not responding my question. I asked you once. I asked you before. Okay.
Ken, let me
Okay,
just.
because Board of Trustees has complicated information between the BZA. I asked BZA for this project. Okay, what's the definition between a rezoning versus the variances in this case? This is the key. That's the key issue of this project.
And
okay,
you have that issue.
and the board and the BZA throw me back. I'm talking to wrong audiences. I need to go back to talk to Board of Trustee, which I did, and you never answered me that question because you are allowing people to build something on a single family district. Okay, you are not going through what is the legal base. You guys can tell me later. My question: what is the legal base? You don't go for a rezoning, but you just try to solve the issue by a simple variances. Let people build on a single family lot.
Okay. Ken, I'm gonna have to mute you, Ken. You have to let the mayor respond.
I heard you, but the thing is, you are going to have a discussion about what is a variance and what is its zone change. That's not a discussion for tonight. This is not a discussion we're going to have. And I asked the council to explain the difference of powers and the ability of each board. And I believe that he explained it well. I tried to explain it before, but what you're trying to say, you're saying that
you did not answer me. Sorry.
No, wait. What you're trying to say is that if they could get a variance, what's the reason for the zoning? Well, that's a different question that we are not here to answer tonight. If you want, I can discuss that with you privately because this is not the reason for this meeting. I want everyone to know we are here for one. We are here for only one thing. Right. You want to discuss architecture?
Publicly.
Okay, Ken, I'm going to mute you. Mayor, if it's okay, I'm going to take the ability from everybody to unmute themselves, and then they'll have to raise their hands if that's okay with you.
Because listen, Ken, I do respect your opinion, and I've heard you discuss about 77 Gutile, the one on Gutile, and this one, and there's nothing you're saying that I don't necessarily agree with. But we have laws and we have codes and we have state mandates. BZA is one of the boards that is necessary and is needed, and it's not something that we can do without. And they are a board that work on their own without an influence of Board of Trustees. And for any of us to meddle in with their decisions, I believe it's considered illegal. So what's the difference in zoning? Why do we have zoning laws if the BZA can give variances? That's a question that you can ask at a different time. Here, we're discussing 733, and we're discussing its design and its architectural and facade. That's all. That's all we're discussing. Now, I hear you that you have an issue with its size. I hear that you have an issue with its setback, with its traffic study that wasn't done right. All those questions have to be made to a different board, not our board. And you have to realize that we live in a country that boards have different powers and different means, and we can't meddle in. There's a separation of power for a reason. So I don't really want to discuss this, everything that we've discussed before by the other speakers. And I think I told you, I appreciate the concern. And so far, I have not said the concern is invalid, because again, that's not my position at this time to say somebody's concern is valid or invalid. I'm here to listen to the concerns, but I don't want to hear the same thing 10 times. I've heard those concerns that you have. So if you have any concerns about the design, facade, and architecture, the board is willing to listen. And please keep it to about 3 minutes because we have other things on the agenda.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask you a question, please? This is Jack Israyan again.
Wait, Mr. Ezrani, let's get some other people who haven't spoken yet.
No,
I see
no, not speaking. I just want to ask him a question. That's all.
That is speaking.
Yeah, my question is.
You're saying you don't
Jack,
want.
I'm going to mute you. I'm sorry, Mark. You could just unmute yourself and state your name and address for the mess. And Jack, we'll get back to you in a little bit.
Okay, Mark Cordvani, 10 North Road.
Thank you.
First of all, I'm going to just start by saying I'm also very unhappy with the BZA, but I won't be bringing that into tonight out of respect for the Board of Trustees. I will stay on topic. Can we pull up the east side view of the building of the architecture building? The east side, please. Is the architect still here?
Just give 1 second. Abraham, will you be able to pull that up? Thank you.
Other side.
East side of.
There is no picture on the east side. There is a.
No,
Just-
there.
I think it's the southeast. It's labeled.
Yeah, try southeast.
The east side is the one with the arborvitaes.
The one with the yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is the east side.
Another one, I think. No, you had a warmer view, the way you described it, of the east side.
It was the
That's the
one
only
where
one
the
I have
parking
from the-
garage was shown, where the entryway to the parking lot was shown.
No. Let me see. Oh, that's good. Let's go through.
Oh, that might have been it.
This one?
Yes.
This
Yeah,
is the
that's
one.
the one, yeah.
No, you had a different one. You had a different. How many pictures do you have here?
I don't think this is the, that one was northeast
This,
also.
no, that's the east side. On the left-hand side is.
This is definitely the east side. Yeah.
This is northeast.
Oh, what?
I want to talk about the placement of the trees, how tall you think the trees will be, where you're putting the fence exactly, and I'm confirming the no access on the balcony on the east side, which you already did. I'm just saying that's definitely happening. So how tall are the trees going to be and where's the fence going to be? And I want to give my input on that too. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
I believe we're going to be planting arborvitaes that are going to start at about between 6 and 8 feet. With the, you know, by the time they grow to full maturity, they should be a little over 12 feet.
Can you go bigger with those? I need to confirm with my wife. Frankly, she'll be speaking after, but I would like trees that'll be at least, I think, 20 feet high.
I think the issue with, you know, the planting is, you know, typically arborvitaes.
60, but that's crazy.
Typically, arborvitaes are planted at, you know, 3 to 4 feet. And then they grow over time to about the 12 feet. The applicant is going to buy larger arborvitaes to get them to start off at a more mature level. If he bought trees that were larger than that to plant at first, I'm not sure they would survive planting. And that's always a risk you take when you plant mature trees, because the older they are, the more established their root system is. Once you pull them out of the ground and replant them, you have a higher rate of, you know, death in the tree in a shorter period of time. So
Right.
I think the trees that we're proposing are the most mature we can plant that we believe will take root and be healthy, strong trees for a long period of time.
How fast do these trees grow? How long will it take to reach maturity?
I believe it's typically 2 to 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. They do grow pretty quickly once they take root, but I think it's about 2 to 3 years.
1 foot a year.
1 foot.
They grow, though, I mean, there are different ones. Obviously, you have to get the ones that grow faster. The ones I got in my backyard, I got them at about 6 or 7 feet. They're about 15 feet already in about 5 years. So they grow really rapidly. Obviously, you need to have the proper irrigation system. Otherwise, they die. And they have to be planted at the right time at the right season. But I don't know if I agree that they should come in at 3 feet. They can definitely come in at higher, especially for.
No, we're going to bring them in at 6 feet, Mayor.
Right.
I was just saying, typically you would plant them in a commercial project at 3 or 4 feet, but
Right.
6 feet is what we're bringing in.
Right, and I do believe that the right ones actually grow to about 20 or 25 feet. They grow really, really tall, but you have to really be on top of pruning them properly. Mark, any other comments you would like to make?
Yeah, so where is the fence is going to be before or after these trees?
I don't think it matters to the applicant. I think it
Okay,
would
great.
really be up to you.
Yeah, okay. So I just confirmed this with my wife, but I think the idea is to put the fence starting at your property, about a foot away from your property, and the trees should be about 5 feet away from that. Because if it gets closer, the trees are gonna affect the fence. It's gonna, someone was telling me it's gonna, the branches or whatever the leaves are gonna affect the fence that right next to it. So it should be.
I have arborvitae's planted about a foot and a half from my fence, and they don't have any impact on the fence whatsoever. I have a vinyl fence, which I think is what we're proposing to put in this location.
I'm sorry, it's the roots will affect the driveway. That's what I was told. If it's too close to
Arborvitae's roots don't. No, Mark, I don't think arborvitae's roots really go do anything. They're very shallow, and they don't go. But again, that's something that I'm sure you can discuss with the building department. I wouldn't think that you should. I don't think you should worry about arborvitae's affecting the driveway. They don't have strong roots like these big 40 feet trees. But again, that's something to discuss. I understand. I think
there's a lot of trees right now in between me and the neighbor. Where you're gonna go? What's your plan? You're gonna remove those trees and plant these trees, or are you gonna plant these next? Because there's already I think 10 or 15 trees as it is on 8 North Road. I don't know if you have it. It's winter now, so they're all de-leaved, but there usually is a lot of trees already there. So what's the, are these trees going to be in addition to those trees, or you want a nice uniform amount of trees? It should only be evergreens. Is that what we're talking about? Or you mentioned a different, because last time it was evergreen trees. Is it a different?
Yeah, evergreen.
They are evergreen. Okay. So what's the plan? There's a lot of trees there already. So I would assume you should take those trees out, or at least the applicant should take those trees out and then plant a sufficient amount of evergreen trees.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. And there won't be any space in between each tree.
So typically you plant arborvitae's 3 feet on center. Over time, when they grow together to create a uniform boundary, so you can't see through it.
Okay. All right. Look, I mean, I have to say this on behalf. I have to talk about this, but also on behalf of my neighborhood. We are all upset. I think we are talking about this a little prematurely. Just out of respect to this board, I don't think you should be grilled for the negligence of the Board of Zoning Appeals. I do think they messed up. I'm not gonna but I do want to stick. That's not the topic of tonight, and I do have, a lot to tell them about on Thursday night. But again, I don't understand why. I feel bad because I have a lot to say to them, and that's something I really wanted to say tonight, but I'm kind of holding it back for them. But this meeting shouldn't have been before that meeting, which is just a weird thing to do. That's why you also have a lot of upset people. I think it was a mistake to actually have this meeting first, because there's still things from the Board of Appeals the Board of Zoning Appeals that we have to talk to them, because what they really dropped the ball. And I have like 10 points on how they dropped the ball, but I don't want to I don't want to grill you guys on that, because it's not your fault, it's their fault. But I am trying to stay on topic, and if there's anything else that anyone else has to say.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Anyone else from North Road who wants to speak?
Yeah, I'm 12 North Road, right next to Mark.
Hello?
I agree with everything Mark. Yes.
Jane, 1 second. We're trying to get everybody from North Road first. Thank you.
I just wanted to chime in what Mark was just saying, and what the builder is going to do along his driveway is really unacceptable. About planting first of all, he's showing an artist's rendering of arborvitae. He's showing a double row of arborvitae right along his driveway. Everybody is saying that, well, it's only going to be like 2 foot wide. And then you're showing this expanse of lawn between the arborvitae and the building itself. It's totally false what they're showing in that artist's rendering. First of all, those arborvitae, that shouldn't be arborvitae. It should be some type of mixed planting of trees, evergreens, things that are going to at least have some appeal to him. You don't want to see 175 feet of arborvitae. You want to have some type of mixed planting so it shows some interest to his property. And you want a mix of height. You want trees. You've got a 4-story building. You can't just have one of your people is saying, well, they'll be about 12 foot tall. 12 foot of anything is not going to do anything to a 4-story building. You're going to want trees. You're going to want evergreens. And all this is going to have to be closer to the building, not right against his driveway. So there's lots of different issues that really have to be corrected on that artist's rendering. I'm not seeing a planting plan. I'm not seeing plant names. What type of arborvitae are we talking about? We're talking about green giant. What kind of trees could we bring in? Many, many issues. So, but again, I still feel that this is way too mature. Like Mark was just saying, we got to go back to the drawing board. That's all I'm going to say.
Anyone else would like to make a comment?
Yes, may I ask a question?
Go ahead. State just your name and address again, please.
Again, Jack is Ryan, 15 North Road.
Thank you.
Sure. I just wanted to ask you guys, there's any way we can take this little bit back to the Board of Zoning and Appeal and open the hearing again so they can hear us properly, and then they can rule? Can we reverse this and go back?
We'll let counsel answer.
How can we do that? There's any way?
Peter, would you be able to answer that? Peter?
He's just got to unmute himself.
I have to unmute. Oh, I think I'm in now. Am I on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly citizens are free to go back and address the Board of Zoning Appeals and make any request of that body that they want to make. But how the Board of Zoning Appeals will handle that, I can't predict. I don't know what they would say.
Okay, because we have, we have a signed petition of over 200 people that we submitted to the village. Plus, we have over 500 signed petition online. So the question is if we can open the hearing again to the Board of Zoning and Appeal, or this is sealed already. They already delivered the verdict and it's unreversible. That's my question.
Well, Respectfully, though, I think that's a question you need to address directly to the Board of Zoning Appeals and let them respond. I don't want to respond on their behalf.
So how should we contact them directly, or we can contact them through you? Can you contact them on our behalf?
As I mentioned before, we cannot intervene with their decisions. I do believe that they do have a meeting this coming Thursday, and it's open to public. Obviously, you can discuss it there. I'm sure they're expecting people to come in. You can definitely bring your concerns to them. I think that's what Peter is saying.
Okay, I understand that I can go back and bring the concern. In the last meeting last month, we addressed our concerns to them. But my question is their decision is reversible? They can reconsider, or they already delivered it? So I can go from here till tomorrow and give my input. If it's not going to change anything, I don't want to waste my time and their time. You know,
that's a question.
If we can make a change, we can make an impact. That's my question.
I think what the council answered was that that's a decision they have to make, not us.
Okay, but it is doable at all? Is it, there is any opinion?
I don't know how the Board of Zoning would judge on reversing anything. I don't know if they have made the final decision. I don't know what they're trying to do, but I think, you know, your points, some of the points I've heard are valid, and I think I can't speak to everything because I wasn't privy to their decision making, so I can't tell this body or the people here now how the Board of Zoning came up with those decisions. I'm sure they have done their due diligence. It's not a board that takes things lightly. I don't like to believe that the Board of Zoning will just accept things without having the proper hearing and proper investigations done. All that said, I'm not saying your points are not valid. They might have been already addressed by BZA, and you can definitely bring them on again to ask them to explain it to you. I have no issues with that. I think there should be.
Mayor, you're right. Normally they are very careful, and they're taking a lot of time. They want to hear all the sides. But I don't know what happened in this case. This was done too fast. It was done too one-sided, and it is very, very regular, normal.
That has not been. So one thing I can say that has not been the reputation that they do things very fast and haphazardly. I don't like to think that this is any different. I like to think that they have done their due diligence and they've done the proper investigation, and they have heard the neighbors, and they had enough public hearing on this matter.
Mr. Mayor, when was the last time a 60-unit building, 4-story, was built in Great Neck that invaded a side street, residential street? Tell me, please, when was the last time?
There's one across the street from my building, from my house.
2 meetings in 2 months, they approve this. This is normal. Come on.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. If this took.
Sorry.
Listen, there are many buildings like this in Great Neck. There really are.
Please name me the last building, 4-story, 60 units that was built, that the long side of it is in a residential street. Please name it. I want to know. I want to see where is it and how long ago this was done.
Again, I think your points, as I said, your points are valid. You should really discuss it with Board of Zoning. And listen, I'm sure you'll be there on Thursday. These are the questions that you should ask them.
Mr. Mayor, you are still the mayor of the village.
But I'm not a king, Mr. Ezrahian. I'm not a king.
No, sorry, Mr. Mayor. You are the mayor of the village, and you should take a leadership. This is happening under your watch in your village, okay? So please,
take care of the
We need
residents.
also your assistance and your cooperation and your common sense in this matter.
I hear you, but there are certain things that I cannot do, even if I wanted to. As Peter explained, I don't think it's even legal for me to opine on the decisions that are made by the different boards. That's why I'm holding back to agree or disagree. First of all, I can't do that because I am not privy to what they're previewed. What they have examined, the questions they've asked, the both sides of the topic that they've heard, I have not. I'm hearing this side. I have not heard the other side. And again, this board is not actually put in the responsibility of this board at this time is not to make those decisions of giving variances. We are not allowed to give variances. As Peter explained earlier, our board cannot give variances unless they come to us for an incentive zoning, which this is not. I mean, it is incentive zoning, but they didn't come to us for an incentive. They have gone to the BZA because they needed variances to the zone, not to the use, that they have gone to get some change of zoning, which our board was not able to offer them. And that board has taken the leadership. So you're telling me that as the mayor I have to take leadership, there are laws and state mandates that prevents me from doing so. So I want you to be aware of it. It's not that I can, again, I'd like to tell this to people. We don't have kingdom in America. We have a government that has different branches, and different branches have different responsibilities. Our responsibility at this time is to hear architectural and facade. That's all. Anything else that has to do with the zoning, the size, the setbacks and all that, even though we would like to know what could be done and how we can make the building more acceptable. But all those other things already have been discussed with a different board that we cannot have and do not have jurisdiction over. So I just want that to be clear. That said, I do not say that, you should not have your concerns. And, we are hearing you, even though, I can't do much about it at this time, but we will hear, let me just hear other people as well. Anyone else would like to make a comment?
Can I speak now?
Go ahead, state your name and address for the record, please.
Kate Goldberg, 26 West End Avenue.
Thank you.
I live one block south of this project, and I would like to mention I totally understand the concerns of the North Road residents, but I would like to address the middle neck problem. This because we saw today that we have the entrance from the Middle Neck Road and to the gallery, and then eventually the side door for the deliveries. And I would like to remind everybody that this building is placed practically in the middle of a very, very dangerous intersection across the Arundel Road. This is a very heavy trafficked intersection that very many school buses driving there. There is a school bus stop. Very many middle school students walk there and bike there and cross the street just across this building. And if you would place delivery trucks, UPS or whatever, on this intersection, they will stand practically in the middle of this intersection. So I hope that the Nassau County would not allow that. but even if they allow, I really think that it is very, very dangerous traffic situation that would occur because of this. So I think that the only realistic expectation is that all deliveries still would be done from the North Road. And I totally agree that there is not enough space there for garage entrance and for the circle entrance and all the deliveries. So I just would to remind, and I want to also remind that I was speaking about the dangerous side of this intersection from the very beginning of this project. Because as I said, I am walking this intersection with my son every day from the school, so now every other day. So, and there are very many children there from the middle school who are walking or biking there on this intersection. And the bus stop, the school bus stop is also there. So it is a very, very crowded intersection. It has a very strange configuration. It is very slow with a very unbalanced street light changing. And I was talking about it for very long, and I don't see it addressed by the village or by the Nassau County, and was talking about that this intersection problem has to be solved before you add any buildings north of this intersection or just in the middle of this intersection, especially as this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Again, I want to remind everybody, this is what you discussed had to do with Nassau County, and Nassau County has given the Board of Zoning local determination. We can discuss all this, but again, we are not talking about what we are here today. So I would like to hear again, please discuss what we're here to discuss and not things that we can't really make decisions on.
But this is the architectural review where exit is and where is the parking of the UPS delivery trucks. We were talking about delivery trucks, the entrances for the cars. And this is part of architectural review, I thought.
The traffic that you're mentioning is not, but the entrance we discussed before. Anyone else would like to have comments?
Yes, Sam, I see you raising your hand. Go ahead, Sam. Just again, state your name and address for the record.
Samuel is still at 2 Hollies Lane. So 3 quick things. First of all, I realize that the rendition you have of the east elevation is not the most current rendition, but it is completely blank. So does it have any of the breakups that the other renditions have? That's one question. 2, North Road resident Ron stole my thunder about the planting. The same way you break up the facade of the building, gardens, and I know Jean is waiting to talk, you plant with different heights and different textures and different spacings. So while a green wall of arborvitae is one thing, if you've got 15 feet between the arborvitae and the building, put in a couple of eastern pine or a couple of evergreen that will be taller. So you've got the arborvitae and then the tree taking up more of the facade. So those are 2 recommendations in terms of the east facade. In terms of the North Road, the whole thing with UPS is crazy. If you've got a covered roundabout or whatever you want to call the horseshoe to get in, and it's not tall enough for trucks, that's mind-blowing to me, because clearly you're going to have this issue. And yes, you could have it'll only be 1 delivery, but you can't fit the deliveries for 60 apartments on 1 hand truck. That driver is going to have to make trip after trip, and that is going to block North Road for not just a quick in and out. So that. But the main thing I want to say is this, and Mr. Mayor, please, I understand that there are different boards. I put this in the chat.
I read it.
Al Capone got put away for murder. Not for murder, for tax invasion. So if you want to kill this project, if you want to take some of that power back, don't kill it because the BZA gave it this variance or that variance. Hold it up in court. I don't like the color of your tile. I don't like the railings. I don't make it go month after month. Rabbi Shem Tov, please, for our neighborhood. You don't want to come here and be an enemy right away. You don't want this animosity right away. You want to be a good neighbor. You want to foster great relations. Make the compromise. Now, again, I'm one of the anti-developers, one of the opposition. Nonsense. Everybody here knows those buildings are a shanda. They're a danger. 733, 741, they must be replaced. But it's a question of scale. It's a question of location, 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 the right building in the right place. And this building is just huge. And it's just an affront and a danger, literally, to the people on North Road. So just scale it back. When we say we're in opposition, if you did it, you know, and I want to say even more than half, I always say 50, 60, 60, 65%, 2/3, you know, cut things back. We're not happy, you're not happy. That's a compromise. That's what we can do. We don't say don't build anything, but we don't say build a megalith. Somewhere in between, it's got to be the right scale. And you can't screw over, not for nothing, sorry for my language, you can't screw over the people on North Road. It's not right, it's not fair. And you do have the power to just delay, to kill it for income tax invasion, not for murder. Thank you.
Okay, Sam. Well, I like the first part. I like the first part of what Sam said about the trees. I think those are the things that can be discussed, and I think they can make a nice garden on the east side that is actually going to be pleasing both to neighbors as well as the immediate neighbor and also people that live on this building. But okay, yes, Ken.
Sorry, wait, Mayor, excuse me for 1 second. I have somebody, Miriam, who's been waiting patiently.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Miriam Cordovani. I also live at 10 North Road. My husband, Mark, talked a little bit earlier. I just wanted to say I totally agree with what George and Sam was saying, as well as the mayor. I like the idea of having variations of trees and evergreens, just so there's some kind of difference in height and texture. I do want to say, though, that our driveway borders the property of 8 North Road where you want to start building. And it doesn't make sense to me to have all of these bushes and trees right along our property line. I do think that it should be pushed further towards the apartment complex that you want to build. Maybe 5-10 feet, whatever the landscapers think is necessary so that it can grow properly and it won't be interfering in our driveway as well as whenever everything starts to grow. Additionally, I genuinely think if this building is going to be 3-4 stories high, then there needs to be planting minimum 20 feet so that it can block out some of the view that is going to be looking directly into our backyard where my children play. I don't want strangers to be able to look at them, to watch them, to see them whenever they're outside. I heard mention of a fence being built also. I think that fence, if it is going to be built, should be built between the trees and bushes and our driveway so that it is a further barrier between us.
That's what usually happens.
Sorry?
That's what usually happens.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that, and I wanted to make sure that if that is going to be happening, that means that the bushes and trees aren't going to be 2 feet away from our property. They're going to be 5-10 feet away. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's only 15 feet between our property and the building. I don't see how that is going to happen unless there is going to be some receding of the building in that sense. But that can also be discussed in the future.
Thank you, Miriam. Anyone else would like to make a comment?
Yes.
And I think because we have another one, I'm just going to give another maybe 10 minutes to this project, and then we have to move on. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to talk about the facade. Okay, I don't believe the tree or planting is part of the facade solution. If you have a building distance only 15 feet away, and you have all those windows looking at the neighbor, it's no good anyway, okay? We live in the suburban, not in Manhattan. Even in Manhattan, you are required to have 30 feet between a window, a legal window to the property line. So if you have only 15 feet, forget about it, whatever you do over there, the neighbor's privacy is gone, okay? Number one. Number two, I appreciate our deputy mayor's suggestion when we reviewed this canopy, okay? And he was saying people some kind of should submit, instead of one option, you should submit more options in the first beginning. And I think this is one of the key issue I mentioned a long time ago. Whether in the planning, massing stage, instead of you submit one, you stuck yourself with that, don't want to change, which is not good, there's no option. Same thing applied to the facade. Why don't people only submit one scheme, no options? I think it was a great suggestion. People suggest options in the earlier stages, so everyone can contribute their comments, not only the facade, but also the rest of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. All right, I would take probably 2 more comments and then that's it.
Okay, go ahead, Jean. Just your name, address for the record, please.
Brian?
Go ahead, Jean. Just
Am
your
I
name
on?
and address. You're on.
Okay.
You're live.
James Pierce, 44 Arundel Avenue.
Thank you.
First of all, arborvitaes are not trees. They're Home Depot's cheap screening. The stucco, I think you had mentioned stucco. I hope it's not that phony stuff, because in 15 years it'll look like garbage. Vinyl fencing you mentioned that would be put up. 5 years ago, the village passed a code, no solid vinyl fences. So you might want to look into that. The mayor said that this building would go, the structure of it, the facade would look similar to the new buildings we already have on Middle Neck Road. This is an apartment building, it's people's homes, it's not the French bakery, and it's not Everfresh food market. So it really shouldn't be looking like those commercial buildings. Also, you're concerned about where the arborvitaes are going, but my concern is about the 6 dry wells, the placement of them, which you haven't mentioned. And if the rabbi is purchasing the land, which would be on Hicks Lane, then it's a question, as that house is residential, it would have to be a subdivision. So you better start from there too. Now, if he's just going to pay for the use of their property to install the dry wells, that could be a problem too. So
Jean,
that needs to
these
be
are-
sorted
these are,
out.
again,
I know, but
These are county issues, BZA issues, and site plan issues. They're not architectural and, facade.
well,
So that-
dry wells kind of are architectural. They're just underground.
dry wells are
And
not.
as the rabbi is there, I really would like to have a clear and honest answer as to whether this is going to be a synagogue and religious study center. Is this a religious building or an apartment building, or both?
Jean, how the
As
heck
he
did that
is
come
there,
into this?
maybe he could answer us, because this would make a big difference of whether it's an apartment building or if it's going to be used as a religious building. So maybe he could answer that as he is here. And also the finances, because apparently the Canadian Iranian who's putting up the money for this project is already in financial difficulties.
The finances? Who did we ask the finances for before?
Excuse me?
Who did we ask if they have the proper finances? I mean, those are the questions that are not relevant to our meeting tonight. We cannot.
Well, they're very relevant, whether this apartment building could be finished once it's started, or we've got to look at a garbage like we're looking at now for 5 years.
All right. I don't think these are relevant to facade and architectural. The bank statements and all that other stuff, you can discuss it at a different time. This is really discussing the facade and architectural, not the finances and the use.
Now, you say it another time, you told somebody else another time. Could you tell us what that time would be?
You can discuss. You can call. You can ask the building department. That we never ask anybody's finances.
No, I think these questions we want to have at a meeting.
But this is
At a
not the
Board of
meeting for it.
Trustees meeting.
Gene, this is not the meeting for it.
Gene, call the applicant and ask him if he has the finances.
Right. I can't tell you. I mean, you're asking, you
Well,
know,
I don't know
who's
whether I believe
financing it?
him or not.
I don't know. I really don't know who's financing it, but it's
Well,
just not relevant.
we know who it is, but I also know, have from very good source, that
If
he.
you know who it is, then why are you asking?
I'm
I
sorry,
didn't ask you who he was. I told
All
you
right.
he was in Canada, the Iranian Canadian, who owned the Mall of America, and I'm sure you know that. But as they were in trouble with the virus, the mall's not doing well. We want to make sure that if this goes through, that it would be completed and not look like next to 7-Eleven, that garbage there that we're having to look at because they don't have the funds to finish. These are very important things. We live up here, and we've seen for years how we've gone downhill.
There is a process. The process
I
is,
can't hear you.
there is a process. This is not the process. So I'm going to ask to move on. Anyone else has a question? And this will be the last question or comment. All right. Member of the board, anyone has a comment? Does anybody hear me or no one hears me?
It's hard to hear you, Mayor.
All right, so anyone has a comment from the members of the board? No. I know that there is a meeting on Thursday with the, I think the BCA has a meeting on Thursday. I would like to, I mean, we heard a lot of people mostly have the same concerns. I would like to see what happens on Thursday meeting. We will, if the board agrees, which I'm sure some already have told me, they would like to just table this meeting until in 2 weeks to follow after the BZA meeting. Again, the purpose of this meeting, I wanted to hear the people. I think we heard the immediate neighbors, we heard people from North Road, and there are certain things that I think the people asked about: the type of the trees, the lighting on the building, the setback, how they're going to screen so the neighbor's backyard is not going to be visible, and we can continue this meeting in 2 weeks. Anyone has comments on that?
Mayor, it's Peter B. Mayor, just a procedural point, if I can. Because you are required under the code to take on facade review, it is an option to take on architectural review. My recommendation is that you take the jurisdiction on by a quick resolution this evening, not with making any decision on architectural review, but merely noting for the record that you will be dealing with it and are taking on that jurisdiction.
You mean not tonight, in 2 weeks?
Anytime.
Right.
Very good, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you everybody for your comments. We will table this until the next meeting. All right, next item on the agenda.
The next item, Mr. Mayor, is a request by the applicant from 429 Middle Neck Road to amend the approved plans to add a mezzanine to the building. I will put up the plans in just a moment. There you go. Is the applicant or applicant architect on the meeting, please?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Bahari, would you like to take us through the plans?
It's actually Rabbi Alon. How are you? Can you hear me?
Hi, Alon. Would you like to take us through the plans, please?
I first actually want to, the hour is a little bit late, I realize. And I first want to appreciate your, helping and all the backup in the project. We nearly finished, except the facade, a little bit of a touch, which will remain with the same facade, which hopefully will be done in the next 2 weeks to be completed. With relationship to the inside, we applied for the mezzanine. We originally thought to have a storage, but consequently in the future, it may be a mezzanine. So therefore, we would like to apply as a mezzanine tonight, with your permission. So Robert Bahari is going to explain a bit more. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, members of the board. My name is Robert Bahari. I'm the architect for this project. And as the property owner mentioned, we're here tonight to ask the board's approval for a mezzanine level inside this structure. As the rabbi mentioned, we really appreciate the board's patience and cooperation in this matter. Any questions as to why and how it was installed, I defer those questions to the owner to answer. But currently, the mezzanine is set up right now to be used for storage purposes. We're also requesting the board's approval for the mezzanine to be used for the congregation in the future if and when the need arises. So just to run through the floor plan you have in front of you, this is the first level that you enter. The mezzanine is accessed from this stairwell, which is to the bottom right of the floor plan. You go one flight up. If you go to the next page, please. One flight up. And this is the mezzanine level, which is fronting the Middle Neck Road. The footprint of this mezzanine is about 900 square feet. And as mentioned, currently is being used for storage purposes, and we're requesting that the board's approval for the congregation in the future if and when the need arises. If there's any other technical questions, I would be happy to try to answer them. Yeah.
Is this overlooking the shul part?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Overlooking what?
Would this be overlooking the shul? Is it open? Is it an open area?
Yes, it would be overlooking the shul area, the main congregation area. Right now, it's not overlooking the congregation. It's walled in. As I said, it's being used for storage purposes. Yeah.
But since in the future you may be using it for congregants, do you have a proposed seating layout?
There's no proposed seating layout as of yet. However, according to the state code, the 900 square foot allows you to have 15 square foot per person. So that would be approximately close to 50 occupants, but practically speaking, you could fit maybe 20, 25 occupants in this area.
How does this impact the other portion of the second floor where the residence is?
The second floor is another flight up above this.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the second floor. The setback is where the terrace is. That terrace is right above the mezzanine.
What's the height of this mezzanine to the roof?
The height from floor to ceiling, the clear height is about 7 feet. I think it's mentioned on the plans. There's beams running across. So to the beams, you just passed it. Sorry, go back one more. Yes. This is the ceiling plan of the mezzanine where the heights are delineated.
7 feet.
Zoom in. I don't know if you could zoom in. Yeah, there we go. So we have where the beams occur is 6'7", and where there's just ceiling is about 7'1".
Will there be glass, or will it be actually an open area for?
There would be, we didn't really delve into how we're going to be overlooking the shul area, but there is going to be, it could be two options. One option, it would be a glass railing, which is about 4 foot high. Another option would be to have a wall of 4 foot with curtains above the 4 foot. Actually, it would be a third option would be to have a fencing, open fencing at 4 foot high. I don't know if we would go with that option, but we would explore all the options when the time would come. Right now, the congregation does not need it, but again, in the future, if and when the need arises, we would like to have this opportunity with board permission.
And where are we standing with the project? It's
all
I'm assuming
completed.
that it's in completion.
It's the project, Dr. Browley, is all completed. We're waiting for the sprinkler system is all installed. Mr. Harchie, Paul Harchie, will be examining hopefully by next week both the fire alarm and the sprinkler, which are both done. As far as electrical clearance, we got the certificate from the state, and all the plumbing was approved, other than the drainage, which we have to deal with the help of Steve from the village at the balcony. But other than that, all the pavers are finished. Everything is complete. We're just gonna do the facade, about 1,000 square feet, with a wood-looking finish, modern finish. Original thought to change it to Jerusalem, but we're gonna stick with the original plan, not to make things complicated. We were already granted the approval. So it's coming to 90% finishing. It's beautiful inside.
I just want to say,
Did somebody say something?
yeah, this is me, Margie. I am one of hi. I'm one of the board members of the synagogue, and I just want to say that Rabbi really did a great job. And again, thank you so much for the village giving the support to build a beautiful synagogue for our community.
What?
Sorry, Mazi, I could not hear you. I don't know if anyone else heard you.
You're coming very, it's not clear. If you could please speak a little louder, please, to repeat yourself.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Please speak a little louder, yeah.
Too loud?
No, it's good.
Okay. I just said, first of all, thank you so much for the village for allowing us to build a beautiful synagogue that will serve our community. And Rabbi really did a great job. I'm one of the board members of the synagogue. And my hope now is really to finish the project so we can start to use the place.
I barely hear you, Mazi. I don't know why.
Mayor, she thanked the board and the mayor for approving the plans originally to allow us to go ahead. And she basically thanked the board and the mayor for allowing the synagogue to be built.
Okay.
As a member of the board of the synagogue.
Okay. So the issue, I think, is the fact that this mezzanine was done without the proper permits. It is at the completion. I know that they were thinking that it's probably okay to have a possible storage that may become may be used for something else at a later time. Even though there are different ideas of how this has to be dealt with, I think the right way is the fair way, and what we do with others and what we have done with others, and we continue doing the same thing, and everybody gets treated the same. I do believe, because this is at the completion, to the minimum it has to be the permit fees that get multiplied by 3. I don't know what the permit fees would be. Steve, you can just let us know what the permit fees are. And again, that's at least my suggestion. The board can definitely have different suggestions, and I'm willing to listen to what the board has to say. Steve, what would be the permit fees?
So the permit fees, as it stands, to add this mezzanine would be a $3,500 fee. And if you multiply that by 3, it's a $10,500 total.
Okay.
Because it was built without a permit, and that is what the code reads, that it's 3 times the fee.
Got it. All right. Anyone would like to make a comment from the board? Rabbi Alon, if that would be the response that the board agrees with, what's your take?
Yeah, we'll go along with it. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yes, sure.
Mayor, if the board is anticipating a potential approval, I respectfully suggest that the approval be in 2 parts. First, the board has been supplied previously with EAF forms, so the resolution would first declare this to be an unlisted action with a negative declaration of environmental impact, and then secondarily to then approve the amended plans pursuant to the drawings that have been provided this evening, with the building permit fee trebled as you just indicated.
Okay.
Is this something that we have to vote for, or it's something that just gets passed?
No, it is a vote that you would take. The resolution, a long form of which I have supplied to the village clerk. But basically, we'll be resolving that the proposed action constitutes an unlisted action under CEQA, that you've determined there's no negative impact, that you are approving the applicant's request to amend its plans consistent with the drawings provided here this evening, and that the building superintendent be then directed to impose the appropriate trebled fee. Is there a motion to that effect?
A motion.
Moved by trustee Hope, seconded.
I
seconded.
And is there any discussion on that motion? And if not, any dissent or abstention? Unanimously passed.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Everybody appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Peter, I'm sorry, didn't you say it's a 2-part, that the first part is?
The first part is the CEQA determination, and the second part is the approval.
Okay, so are you going to call the vote for the approval?
I put that into a single resolution, which is permitted.
I didn't hear that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. So the last item on the agenda is the abstract for January 8th, 2021. The total of the abstract is 78,927.
There was just one outstanding question I had. If is Louis here? So
Yep, I'm here.
okay. SAIT ROLOC discs bulbs. what was that for?
What is it? Say it again.
SAIT Roloc, ROLOC discs. I didn't know what that was.
What was
It was like 474. I just was curious what it was.
Those are the little grinding discs.
Is that for one of the trucks?
Well, they used for grinding gaskets or grinding steel. Or yeah, just general maintenance on the trucks.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you. I'll make a motion to accept the abstract.
Second.
Any discussions? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, passed unanimously.
The minutes for the last meeting were not prepared on time. I apologize for that. They'll have it ready for the next time. Public comments, if there is any.
Just unmute yourself if you have a comment, please. And state your name for the record. I don't see anybody raising their hand.
Yeah, I think it's 11:30. It's past many
Still
people's
early.
bedtime.
Still early.
All right. I'll have to wake up at 4:30 tomorrow. Right, guys. I call to adjourn. Before that, I wish everybody a happy new year. Please be careful. Continue doing what you have to do. The COVID's still serious, and as I mentioned, one of my good friends who's healthy and at 50 years old is intubated for about 2 weeks already and not doing well. So we have to really take this virus seriously. So please be careful and take care of your loved ones and yourself.
You too.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
Right, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.